Hello, my name is Nancy Hughes, and I'm with the Office of Federal Programs. And today I want to offer you some training for the CARES Act application. So this is the screen that you will normally see. You need to make sure that your fiscal year is in 2020. Then you'll scroll down to the bottom under the available applications, and you'll find under the Office of Federal Programs the CARES Act. All you will do is create the application, and it might take a little bit of time for the application to be created. So what you need to do is wait for this circle to start spinning, and then once it stops spinning, the application will be created. It takes a little bit of time, so you have to be patient. So please don't try to click on anything else, because if you do, it will throw you out of the GMS system. So now your application has been created. I want to thank Kiowa Public Schools for allowing me to use their application. This first page is just an overview page about the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund called ESSER. We are using the project code 788 for the CARES Act ESSER funds. So this just tells you a little bit about the funds. The next page is your contact page. This is just like all the other applications in GMS. The first one, if you need to add more email addresses to the GMS to send email notifications to, you add them here. And you just keep adding until you have the 5. The superintendent information is pre-populated from the assurances. So if this information is not correct, you will need to go back and correct your assurances. There's 2 contact people that we would like you to add, just in case we can't get a hold of the superintendent. Who can we get a hold of when it comes to the CARES Act if we have questions? The next page is the assurances page. So what you will do is you will read through thoroughly all of the 7 assurances, because you will have to agree to all of those. If you agree, check the box, put the date in. So I would put 5/22/2020, because that is what today's date is. And then you will save the page. Go and move on to the next box. The non-public schools page is for those private schools that are located in your LEA attendance area. This is different with the CARES Act. If the private school is located in your attendance area, then you will need to consult with them about the ESSER funds and all the different areas that they can spend their money. If they would like to participate, then you will fill out the packet that is on our website, the Office of Federal Programs website. They will sign it, you will sign it, and you'll send that packet, you'll upload that packet here. Now, Oklahoma is using public low-income student counts and non-public low-income student counts. So you will need to have that information from your non-public school. If you have no private schools, you'll enter 0 and save the page. You'll still upload the very last page of the packet, because there is a question that just says we have no private schools in our attendance area. You'll sign it and upload the page. Save the page and then move on to the next screen. Now we'll come back to the non-public services page, because you have to have money budgeted in order to use this page. The next page is the uses of funds. This is the allowable uses that you can use for the CARES Act. There's 12 areas. They're very broad areas. So basically, what do you need to purchase due to the COVID-19 pandemic? You will click on one of the boxes and briefly explain how you will be using the funds. There's 12 different areas, so every area that you want to use, you briefly explain how you're going to be using these funds. Save the page. The next tab in this is called an incentive grant opportunity. Under the CARES Act, the state was allowed to set aside 10% of the funds for other uses. Part of those uses is going to be an incentive grant opportunity. So if you would like to participate in the incentive grant opportunity, you will check this box and you will need to set aside 30% of your ESSER funds allocation for 2 of the following 5 areas. Then just save the page. The next page is the intent and purpose. You will need to fill out all 7 areas on this page. Also, if you are going to be serving non-public schools, you will need to fill this out on their behalf. Once you're through with that, save the page. If you have no non-public schools that you're serving, you do not fill out the non-public education portion. The next page is the allocation page. This just shows you how much you have for CARES funds. The next page is the budget page. This is where you'll be taking those uses of funds and then telling us how you're going to budget your funds. Down below is your indirect cost. If you want to budget indirect cost, you will do that. Once the remaining A through H is 0, then you can move on. If you happen to have some private schools that you're going to be serving, you will use the code 5500. And it's going to be based on how much you spend. It's what's your proportionate share in the non-public tab. So you'll just save the page when you're completely through. Now, if you were to be serving some private schools, and you code things to 5500, where that is the code you use for private schools, then you'll go back to the non-public tab. You'll go to the non-public services portion, and you'll tell us how you're spending the funds for each non-public school. So if you are serving 2 non-public schools, you'll put their name here. Tell us how you're spending the funds, what object code you're using, and describe the expenditure and put the expenditure amount. So once you budget the funds under 5500, it'll show up here. So once you get all of these funds budgeted here, this will be balanced. The 2 will balance. This page, and the budget page should balance. Once you're through, save the page. Now let's go back to the budget page, and we're going to go to personnel. If you have any extra salaries that you had to pay employees in FY20 related to COVID-19, then you can pay these salaries out of FY20 funds. You'll add the personnel here, and you will save the page and validate the page with school personnel records. So that means you'll have to go put these salaries in school personnel records. In FY20, it's just those extra salaries that you had to pay due to COVID-19. It's not those regular salaries, because under the CARES Act, there's a clause that says you must maintain your employees and contracted services in order to receive the ESSER funds. So you would need to maintain those salaries. So what you could pay in FY20 is just those salaries above and beyond what you needed to maintain. FY21 is a completely different story. But you won't put those salaries in personnel till next year if you carry over the funds. Save the page, validate the page, and move on. The next page is the supporting documentation page. This is just here in case you need to upload us any contracts or any information that we might need pertinent to your application. After you've done all of those tabs, completed those, then you will go to the submit page. You'll run the consistency check. Once the consistency check moves forward and it's all good, you will lock your application and you'll submit it to the Office of Federal Programs. Each one of our federal program staff has been assigned so many LEAs. They will review your application as soon as possible. Once your application is final approved, you can start submitting claims for any expenses that you had in FY20. The expenses can go back to March 13th through June 30th of 2020. Now let me explain that. The GMS runs on a state fiscal year. So anything you're going to spend from March 13th of 2020 through June 30th of 2020 will be uploaded by August 1st. Now, if you need these funds before June 30th, you need to submit a claim by June 1st. But you'll have until August 1st to submit your last claim for the FY20 funds. What you don't obligate in FY20, the fund, once you close out, the funds will roll forward to FY21. You'll budget your funds and start spending your money. And that is the CARES application. If you have any questions, you can call the Office of Federal Programs and they will be glad to help you.